Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to this CalPass Plus webinar. We will be getting started in just a few more moments, just giving folks a little bit more time to log on to the GoToWebinar platform. So sit tight and we'll get started shortly. Thank you. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started now. I'm sure a few more people will be trickling in as we get started, but good afternoon and welcome to our CalPass Plus webinar. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We will be providing an overview of California's free longitudinal intersegmental student data system. We are excited to share and explain how this longitudinal data system is being used by over 1,500 members across the state's K-12 institutions, community colleges, and universities. In the midst of COVID-19 district closures, we understand that many education systems, in addition to thinking through how to reopen in the fall, are also concerned about the impacts of lost learning and how it will affect their student outcomes over time. CalPass Plus is an excellent resource for this purpose. We work with K-12 institutions, community colleges, and universities to track how your students are performing over time. And now more than ever, this collaboration across systems is critical. That is why we want to take this opportunity today to connect with districts across the state and ensure that these tools are being fully utilized. We also want to hear what your greatest data-related needs are during this time so that we can provide you with the data you need to help improve outcomes for your students. First, we would like to introduce ourselves as members of the CalPass Plus outreach team, and in a moment we'll be introducing our Chief Information Officer and Chief Operating Officer, Elliot Lopez. My name is Devin Moynihan, and I am the Outreach Manager for Educational Results Partnership in CalPass Plus.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Annalise Green and I am the Outreach Specialist.
Hi, my name is Malkeet Samra and I am the Outreach and Help Desk Technician.
And today we will be giving you all a brief overview of CalPass Plus, and we are also happy to assist you with any further questions after this webinar. Thank you again so much for joining us, and we'll get started.
So before we launch into the content today, I just wanted to share some quick logistical information with you all. First, if you have any questions during the webinar, you can use the questions panel to type those. We have some team members monitoring the questions coming in from the audience, and we will do a Q&A section at the end of the presentation. But always feel free to send your questions at any point during the webinar. If we are unable to get to answer all of the questions today, please feel free to reach out to us afterwards and we can continue the conversation with you. If you have any technical problems or issues with the audio during the webinar, you can use this same panel to communicate with us. All attendees are in listen-only mode, so please use that questions panel to communicate as needed. The audio and video recording of today's webinar will be sent to you in an email following the webinar tomorrow if you would like to share the content with others or to listen again at a future time. Additionally, in the GoToWebinar panel, you will notice the handout section. We have included a copy of this slide deck in addition to further information about CalPass Plus. You're encouraged to share these documents with other members of your organization. So right now we're going to administer a poll to the audience. We just want to get a better sense of who you are, so we appreciate your response to this question. This poll should be launching at any moment now. So what best describes the organization you represent? We'll give you a few moments to respond.
Great, thanks Annalise, and thank you to all of you for responding to the poll. It looks like we have a pretty good mix of people in the audience today, some K-12, some community college, some university, and some other partners as well. So thank you to all of you for joining us, and we'll be sure to demonstrate the tools that are most relevant to all of you in the audience. So to get started with some background information on who we are Educational Results Partnership, or ERP. We're a nonprofit organization that applies data science to help improve student outcomes and career readiness throughout the educational system. Our goal as an organization is to ensure that more students are entering the workforce with the skills that today's global economy demands. We partner with educators and employers, and we're charting the pathways that lead to academic success and living wage jobs. We have accumulated the nation's largest database on student achievement from kindergarten into the labor market, and we use data science and predictive analytics to help identify successful public education systems, practices, programs, and policies that are delivering the best results for our students. We are committed to closing equity gaps in education and the labor market, and our research centers on improving academic and workforce outcomes for all, including students of color, foster youth students, and students in high poverty regions. The 5 focus areas on the right-hand side of your screen provide an overview of the areas in which we work. These are the key momentum points that guide all of our work as an organization. Each of these momentum points is critical in determining students' downstream success in higher education and the workforce. While we know from our work why each of these momentum points is critical to downstream success, what makes our system of data linkages so valuable to educational institutions is that we can look at your specific longitudinal data trends to determine the areas where your students are succeeding over time and look at how to replicate those factors of success. So for example, if you are from a K-12 district, we can help you identify how many of your students have successfully transitioned into college, and we can also help you identify where your graduates ended up after they left your district. In areas where improvement is needed, we can help you find similar districts that are performing well in the areas where you want to improve, and then we can help you facilitate dialogue and conversation with those districts. Our goal is to always help you identify and replicate success. We are now going to play a short video that provides an overview of CalPAS Plus. The video features one of our valued partners who gives an example of how partnering with CalPAS Plus has benefited their regional work.
Better serving students starts with getting access to reliable, usable, and actionable data. However, getting access to data can be difficult in today's educational ecosystem.
With the TK College and Career Collaborative, we were looking for a way to bring our individual district data and even some industry data, and then of course the post-secondary data together to try to make sense of what we were doing and what was happening in our region. And so in reaching out to ERP and CalPAS Plus, we found some really experienced and very knowledgeable partners.
CalPAS Plus is helping education leaders across California navigate and use their data in meaningful ways. As California's largest intersegmental system of student educational data, CalPAS Plus contains student progress and outcomes data from K-12 through college to the workforce. It was created through funding and leadership provided by the California Community College's Chancellor's Office and is hosted by Educational Results Partnership. ERP is a nonprofit organization that applies data science to help improve students' outcomes and career readiness. Best of all, joining CalPAS Plus is free. Here's how CalPAS Plus works. A K-12 institution, community college, or university enters into a data sharing agreement and then uploads its data into CalPAS Plus. Once the data are uploaded, system users are able to see the data in new ways that help them track students' performance over time. The information helps education leaders make strategic and data-informed decisions to improve student outcomes from pre-K through 12th grade and through college and the workforce. Data are presented across a series of user-friendly dashboards, tools, and waterfall visualizations, which include key momentum points and critical student success metrics. More than 1,500 members from K-12 institutions, community colleges, and universities are securely sharing and using their data through CalPass Plus.
CalPass Plus ERP has allowed us to really flourish and really bring forth regional data that we otherwise would not have without them.
Join CalPass Plus today. Get started now at calpassplus.org.
All right, as you can see from the video, CalPass Plus is a system of data linkages. There is tremendous value in being a CalPass Plus member. Not only is it free, but it allows you to track and monitor your students' progress over time and across education systems to know where your students ended up and how they performed. All data that's submitted to CalPass Plus is still owned and governed by the member institutions themselves. CalPass Plus just analyzes and compiles the information into actionable formats that can be used by the field. The CalPass Plus system is completely FERPA compliant. We take data privacy and security very seriously. Our data privacy and security policies can be found on the CalPass Plus website for anyone to view. No personally identifiable information is ever stored while at use or at rest on our servers. All data are automatically encrypted upon upload to the system in order to maintain the privacy and security of this information. We are now going to use the rest of this webinar to discuss the benefits and features of CalPass Plus and to show you all how to use the system. The rest of this presentation will be broken up into two parts. The first part will be to show you the benefits of the system and how to use it. We'll log into CalPass Plus and provide a demonstration of some of the tools and pages. And the second part of the presentation will be to help walk you through the data upload process so that you can start looking at your district's data in CalPass Plus. I'm now going to kick it over to Elliot Lopez, who is our Chief Information Officer and Chief Operating Officer at ERP and CalPass Plus. Welcome, Elliot.
Thank you, Devin, and good afternoon to everyone who's joining us today. I'm really excited that we're joined today by so many institutions from across the state. Now, as you already know, CalPass Plus is a wonderful tool that you can use to help your district make data-informed decisions. And as a former public school district CIO myself, I'm really proud of how it's evolving to better serve our member institutions and your needs. In a moment, I'm going to have Devin go live so that you can see the tools in action. But first, I just want to take a couple of minutes to explain some of the benefits and features of being a CalPass Plus member. First, being able to track and monitor where your students end up after they leave your system is going to help you better understand how well your district is helping its students transition. As you'll see in a minute, CalPass Plus has a momentum tracker that provides you with intersegmental data analytics to help see exactly where your students end up after they leave your system. Second, CalPass Plus has some tools and dashboards that are going to help you determine your students' level of preparedness for higher education or the workforce. For example, you can see how many of the students who leave your system and go on to higher ed end up in college-level English and math courses in their first year, or whether they end up in remedial courses. Third, we are also linking the K-12 and post-secondary data in CalPass Plus to workforce data to begin understanding how many graduates are earning a living wage, achieving wage gain over time, and whether these students are going into jobs and industries that align with their course of study. This is something that we want to discuss more with our members, so please be on the lookout for a future webinar where we will dig deeper into these capabilities. And finally, I just want to use this opportunity to extend an open invitation for you to contact us and learn about regional learning collaboratives. All of these tools are meant to be used to help local school districts, post-secondary institutions, and employers work together and to collaborate on aligning academic curriculum and the skills needed to fulfill local workforce needs. You can see the regional learning collaboratives that have formed in your area by visiting the CalPass Plus website. Now, as you can see on your screen now, CalPass Plus membership is very robust. Hundreds of member institutions are part of our intersegmental student data system, and the membership includes the large majority of the state's K-12 institutions, all of the California community colleges, and about half of our CSUs and UCs. We are forming regional learning collaboratives in each of the areas circled on your screen. And once again, I encourage you to reach out to us to get connected with others in your area to form and to participate in a regional learning collaborative. Next, I'm going to show you one quick example of the type of report you can see for your district. This is what we refer to as a momentum chart in CalPass Plus. We've taken out the name of the school district in this slide, but as you can see, it shows how many students in this particular district started as ninth graders 10 years ago and where those students are today. If you look at the left side of the chart, you'll notice that in this particular district, the cohort of incoming ninth graders was 6,695 students. The Sankey diagram shows you the paths that various students took. If you look at the top far right of the diagram, you'll notice that 24% of this cohort ended up enrolling in a 4-year university during this 10-year period. If you look at the bottom right of the diagram, you'll see that 68% of this cohort is not captured in CalPass Plus's higher education data. Now, this could mean that those students either didn't complete high school or community college, that they didn't enroll in community college to begin with, that they chose a pathway that didn't require them to enroll in higher ed, like an apprenticeship or transitioning directly into the workforce, or that they transitioned into a higher education institution that's not a member of CalPass Plus, and therefore they're not captured in the data. But this is just one example of the type of dashboard that you can see in CalPass Plus. I'm now going to turn it back over to the outreach team, who will provide some more information about CalPass Plus before going live on the site and showing you all some more of what you can do in CalPass Plus.
Great, thank you so much, Elliot. So to talk more about the tools and information available to members before we live demo the site, these next few slides list out the tools and dashboards available per institution. So this is the list of K-12 dashboards that are currently available to members. These tools provide metrics around how students are performing at the K-12 level, as well as provide information around how students are transitioning into post-secondary. And this is the list of community college tools available on CalPass Plus. Because we have such a robust and complete data set for community colleges, there is a lot more opportunity for us to provide more dashboards and data back to the field. The launch board, the second tool listed on this slide, is actually a suite of tools in and of itself, as we'll demo later. All of these community college tools provide metrics and data around different aspects of community college performance and persistence, as well as draw on some of the workforce data within CalPass Plus to provide information on how students are transitioning into the workforce. This slide describes our university tool on CalPass Plus. We currently only have this one university tool, and we are looking to expand our university suite of tools in the coming years. This University Progress Report dashboard allows users to see first-year students' performance and persistence at university. I'd also like to mention that all of these tools are available to all of our members. And by that, I mean if you're from a K-12 district, you have access to view all of the tools, whether it's community college, K-12, or university. You're not limited to only viewing the K-12 schools. CalPass Plus is a closed loop data co-op, which means that the system is password protected and only people who are affiliated with member institutions are allowed to have login credentials. And all members are sharing their data into the system for the collective purpose of understanding student pathways to success. And now we would like to begin the live demo portion of this CalPass Plus website to reintroduce the site to you all, show you how to navigate to certain pages, and give some examples of the tools available to member institutions. This demonstration will only preview some of our dashboards and tools, but we encourage you to explore on your own and view the different dashboards in more detail. So first, we'll look at the home page. This is the home page of CalPass Plus. First, we will show you how to find the data coverage that populates our dashboards. So if I go under helpful information, I can navigate to our member list on the left-hand side and then click go. So the member list is a search tool that displays our MOU and data coverage across institutions, whether at regional or district levels. So for example, if I wanted to know the coverage in the Los Angeles region, I would simply select that option into the region selection and click refresh button. You can also search for any specific district. So for example, if I type in ABC Unified, I can view the most recent academic year of data they uploaded by clicking refresh as well. By clicking on the academic year, the member list displays ABC Unified's history of data uploads to CalPass Plus. I can also search for community colleges and universities using this page. And this information is all populated on the member list after successful processing of the data files that are uploaded. So next we will demonstrate the data upload page to understand how we receive the data. This is our data upload page. So for K-12 institutions, after collecting the 9 ODS extracts for the relevant academic year from the CalPads website, the data submission contact at that K-12 institution would simply select the file purpose as CalPads, choose the files, and then click submit. There is further information available for data upload assistance in our FAQs, and it's also attached as a handout in our GoToWebinar panel today. And as always, the outreach team is available for more personalized assistance if needed through our CalPass Plus help desk. So we contact our K-12 member districts annually in the fall to request data uploads from the previous academic year. We receive all of our community college and labor market data directly from the Chancellor's office. Universities upload data by formatting their student information to match our university data element dictionary. We will go more into the details of the data upload process later on in the presentation. But now that we've covered what kind of data is populated in our dashboards and how we receive it, we can start exploring our dashboards, and I'll hand it off to Devin to continue with that.
Thank you, Annalise. Appreciate it. So yeah, to start demonstrating some of the actual dashboards that display this data for you all, I will start with our newly updated STEM dashboard. And you can navigate to this tool by clicking on K-12 schools at the top of the screen and clicking on STEM in the left-hand side. Working collaboratively with our partners, we designed a tool that highlights the importance of enrollment in Algebra 1 before high school by connecting our K-8 data to later high school performance data. And this dashboard reveals outcomes related to access to Algebra 1, particularly for historically disadvantaged groups of students. To begin the demonstration, this is the kind of starting page, the beginning page of this tool, and it provides some additional research context as an introduction to inform user understanding of the results and metrics later on in the dashboard. Down towards the bottom of this screen, you see our selection criteria, and this tool allows for views by region, county, or district. For this demonstration, I'll keep the selection at statewide just to make sure that we have a lot of data populating for the demonstration, and I'll click the class of 2015 for this example. For the graduating class year, when you're selecting your cohort year, these are the students that graduated in the selected year, and we're looking back to when that specific group of students was in middle school to look at their pre-high school algebra access, enrollment, and passing rates. So now we're getting into the metrics of this dashboard. To start off, we have the demographics section, and this lets users examine the details of their selected cohort. It includes an overall head count, a race and ethnic breakdown, gender breakdown, and socioeconomic status breakdown. The second section of the tool lets users examine the percentage of students within your selected cohort that had access to pre-high school algebra. This does not mean that the students enrolled in that pre-high school algebra course, only that they had access to enroll and take the course when they were in middle school. The drill downs continue throughout the tool as well, so I can select ethnicity, gender, and socioeconomic status to view those lenses for this data as well. And if you hover over any part of the visualizations, you do get the raw counts and data numbers relevant to that particular metric. Continuing in the tool, we can see how many students enrolled in the course compared to how many passed the course. And make note of the legend here on the side that shows which color is represented by each group. Next, we can see the implications that Algebra 1 had on high school GPA. This section allows for comparison between all students versus students that had access to, enrolled in, and passed Algebra 1 before high school. As you can see, students that enrolled in and passed Algebra 1 before high school ended up having higher high school GPAs than other students. And these differences become even more apparent when breaking it down by gender. This last section of the tool looks specifically at high school GPA in STEM-related courses. And again, we see how Algebra 1 is an important momentum point. Particularly for socioeconomically disadvantaged students, we see that their early algebra enrollment pushes them over into a higher STEM GPA. Analyzing early student data provides educators opportunities to best prepare students for successful futures, and this pre-high school algebra dashboard is just one example of that. We are already working to update this tool based on feedback that we've received from some of our members. So if you have any additional comments or questions as you kind of dig into this tool and explore for your particular institution, please let us know. We would love to hear that feedback. Next, we will be highlighting our high school to community college transition report as another example of a K-12 centric tool. So to navigate to this tool, again, click on K-12 schools at the top of the screen and click on high school to community college transition report in the left-hand bar. So this is the homepage of the High School to Community College Transition Report, and this tool allows users to understand how a particular 12th grade cohort of students are transitioning into community college and how they're doing academically once they get there. The purpose of this tool is essentially to provide K-12 stakeholders with information on how their students are doing after they leave high school, and to answer some key questions about how those students are performing and persisting at the post-secondary level. The first part of this tool is the selection criteria here at the top. This tool lets users select statewide or aggregate for all CalPAS Plus members. You can select a specific district, or you can select a specific high school within a district if you want that very particular cohort of students. For this demonstration, I'll select statewide just to make sure that there's a lot of data to populate. And I'll leave it at the 2014-2015 cohort year, so that we can allow some of those post-secondary transitions to really have taken place. The next section of this tool is the demographics section. So this is giving aggregate and summary details on the students of your selected cohort. So the total head count of students within that 12th grade cohort, the race and ethnic breakdown, and the percent socioeconomically disadvantaged. Here over on the pie chart, if you hover over any part of this chart, you do get the percentage as well as the overall head count for that particular subgroup. The next section of the tool is the community college metrics section. And here is where we look at enrollment, performance, and persistence metrics for this particular cohort once they get into community college. So this first section is enrollment and looking at how students have enrolled in community college. So whether that is by early enrollment during concurrent or dual enrollment programs while they're still in high school, that percentage is there, and looking at early and direct, including those that then went directly into community college after they graduated from high school. Please note the drop-down, drill-down menu on the right-hand side of the screen. This provides that disaggregation option that's available on many of our tools for gender, race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status, so that you can look at the data through the lens that will help you answer whatever key questions you have. Scrolling down in this enrollment section, we have a metric that looks at where students enrolled. So these are the top 10 colleges that students from the particular selected cohort enrolled in after graduation. The next section of this tool is looking at the first course of English and math that these students attempted in community college. And looks like it's a little slow to load, but I'll refresh the page and get that going. While I'm doing that, this metric is particularly important in, looks like everything is trying to reload now. This particular metric is important to allow us to look at how AB 705 is being implemented at all colleges across the state. And of course, that is related to multiple measures of placement and trying to make sure that students are enrolling in transfer level courses versus remedial level courses. Right now, it's looking like we're having a little bit of trouble getting CalPAS Plus to finish loading. So I'm going to transfer over to some screenshots that I've taken of the dashboard to replace this. So just give me one moment. There we go. Now you can see all the visualizations. Sorry about that technical glitch. So here is where we're looking at transfer level, below transfer level, or did not take English in that first year of community college. And this did not take English metric is an important one to mention. This is the course, we know that taking English and math within your first year of community college is an indicator of long-term success. So we always like to point out this particular metric to make sure people are aware and make note of this metric here. The next section is transferring to a four-year university from community college. And this is looking at, of course, what percentage of students from your particular cohort transfer to a four-year university, and in this case, by 2017, 2018. So we're looking at about 17% of students from that cohort transitioned by that year. One thing we like to point out when we're demonstrating this particular metric is that you know, the average amount of time that students spend in community college these days is about 6 years. So it's very possible that students from the graduating cohort are still working towards transferring to the four-year university and are still working towards that while in community college. So just something to keep in mind when looking at these metrics for your particular cohorts. Scrolling further down in that transfer tab is similar to what we saw in the previous tab. Where did students transfer after community college? So these are the top 10 universities that students enrolled in after community college. And the last section of the tool is this awards section. So looking at how many students received local certificates, chancellor's office certificates, or associate degrees. And obviously there's about 10% for this particular cohort. And as I mentioned with the four-year university transfer metric, students may still be working towards that associate's degree from that particular cohort. And as more and more data is uploaded by our members, we can update these metrics to include students that are continuing to receive their degrees. And scrolling down in that awards section, we are looking at where the students receive those associate's degrees. So these are the top 10 community colleges where students got their associate's degrees for that particular cohort year. So that was a quick summary of the high school to community college transition report. So sorry again for those technical difficulties. I hope that these screenshots are doing their job and giving you a good sense of what these tools look like. And by joining CalPass Plus and receiving login credentials, you'll be able to log in and view this tool and select your specific district or high school and view these metrics related to your cohorts of students. So of course, as you're exploring, please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Some potential use cases for this particular transition report tool could be a high school principal, for example, who wants to see the effectiveness of their English classes. They could navigate to this transition report and see how many of their high school students enrolled in community college and took either remedial level English or transfer level English courses. Just an example. And another example might be high school guidance counselors. They could also utilize this information to demonstrate the importance of high school preparation for success after graduation. And we encourage you to start thinking about other potential use cases of our different tools and dashboards as we transition into demonstrating the next tool. So to cover a community college-centric tool, this is another screenshot from the navigation from the homepage of CalPass Plus. And the tool I'll demonstrate is from our launch board. So if you click on that top bar and you click on community colleges in the top bar, you can click on launch board in the left-hand side. As I mentioned before, Launchboard is a suite of tools in itself. So each of these boxes you see here is a separate tool, and the tool that I will demonstrate for you all today is the Community College Pipeline tool. And this is the tool that provides metrics related to community college offerings, student characteristics, milestones, completion, and employment and earnings outcomes. So this is the homepage of the Community College Pipeline tool. The purpose of this tool is to provide stakeholders and partners with information about community college programs or regional workforce sectors, and give information about how students are participating in those programs and how they're performing and persisting across time. So each of the different tiles that you see here on the screen, these are different sections of the tool. And by clicking into each of them, you dive deeper into data related to that specific topic. So if you pretend that I click on the milestones button here, you'd see a page that looks something like this, depending on what you've selected for your selection criteria that's visible at the top of the screen. So milestones tile, you're looking at students' persistence and retention rates. Right now you're clicking, you've clicked on the summary page. So this is giving you that high-level executive summary metrics with some great visualizations. And if you click on the detailed data tab at the top, you'll see more detailed information. And often this information is given across time. So different charts like the one shown here with a line graph usually with different years for each plot. When you click into the detailed data tab, you'll see different menus here on the left-hand side for each of the different tiles. And these are all of the different metrics and charts that are available for you to view. This dashboard, the Community College Pipeline dashboard, is also great because it brings in some of that workforce data that's available to members in CalPass Plus, and specifically looking at student employment and earnings outcomes. So was a student employed after a year of graduation? Did they attain a job closely related to their field of study? And then clicking into the detailed data tab, you look at that information across time. So were they employed 2 quarters after graduation, 4 quarters after graduation? As you can see, there are many options here on the left-hand side where you can view different kinds of charts. Under the labor market option on the left-hand side of the employment tile, there are some information about total people employed within the region, projected regional job openings. So just some key metrics about regional information that can be helpful for you all. And finally, looking at the earnings tab, actually seeing what students are earning in terms of wages based on their field of study or program that they've participated in. Are they attaining a living wage? What do their change in earnings look like pre and post graduation? And the detailed data option for the earnings tile gives you that information across time. What is their earnings before and after graduation? What is their median change of earnings? And then under the labor market data option, what's the median annual salary for your particular cohort that you've selected? So that was a quick overview of the Community College Pipeline tool, and this tool is helpful for K-12, community college, and university practitioners alike. As you can see, there's helpful regional information that appeals to partners from all segments of the education pipeline. For example, a high school counselor might even utilize this tool to understand the offerings that are available to students at local community colleges, or to see what kinds of workforce options might be available to their students should students decide to stay close to home after high school. The final tool that I will demonstrate for you today is our university-centric tool, our University Progress Report, to give a demonstration of a benefit for our university members in the audience today. This is a tool that you all can use. To navigate to this tool, simply click on the University Progress Report option from the home page or from any page on CalPass Plus. And the metrics that are provided on this tool are related to how students are doing during their first year at university. So you start with your selection criteria here, either selecting all CalPass Plus members or a specific member university by selecting an academic year or by selecting a subgroup. The first metric section of this dashboard is related to student enrollment. So looking at the number of students that are enrolled in their first year in whichever academic year you've selected, and then also looking at prior community college enrollment. What percentage of students from these particular groups were enrolled in community college before they transitioned into this particular university? And the second section of this tool is related to student success metrics. So GPA, what were students' first year GPA at university? What does their term-to-term persistence look like? What percentage of courses are they passing within their first year? And how many units are they attaining during that first year at university? And to live demo one last page on the website, I will turn it back over to Annalise to explain our join page.
Thank you, Devin, and thank you for that wonderful demonstration of a few of our tools. And thank you to everyone submitting all of your questions. I will get to them, or we will answer them during the Q&A section. Thank you so much. Keep sending them in. But as she mentioned, the last page that we'll point out for you today during this demo is the Join page of CalPass Plus. This is where you can sign an MOU to become a member institution indicated on the left-hand side of the page. You can send it in electronically or through the mail. This is also where you can obtain login credentials if you're affiliated with a member institution by filling out the fields on the right-hand side of your screen.
Great, thank you, Annalise. Now to transition back to our original PowerPoint slide deck, we do want to return to covering a bit more information about how different members upload their data to CalPass Plus. And we'll start by explaining the upload process for our K-12 members. So K-12 members upload their institution's data to CalPass Plus on an annual basis, and we request this data from our K-12 partners in the fall of each year, as we mentioned previously, and we request the data for the academic year that had just concluded. So for example, in fall 2019, we requested data for the 2018-2019 school year because that school year had just concluded and that data was finalized. The data that K-12 institutions upload to CalPAS Plus is a combination of 9 CalPADS ODS extracts, which are listed now on the screen, and we can share this afterwards as well. And there's also a handout in the handout section of GoToWebinar that provides this list as well as more instruction on uploading data. These extracts contain the student course and award information that are used to populate the tools and dashboards on CalPAS Plus, some of which we just demonstrated for you all. These extracts contain data for all schools under that institution. So for example, for our unified school district members, they are submitting data for all schools within their district. For our County Office of Education members, for example, those COEs are submitting data for all schools under their jurisdiction. So to clarify, county offices do not upload data for all districts within the county. They only upload data for the schools that report to the county office as their quote unquote district. So this could be court schools, charter schools, public high schools or elementary schools, whichever ones consider the county office to be their district are included in the county office ODS extracts that they upload to CalPAS Plus. And we'd be happy to provide more detail on this topic and answer any questions about how different kinds of K-12 partners upload data. Just feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to assist you. So those CalPADS extracts on the previous page need to be downloaded from the CalPADS website. And the CalPADS webpage that's linked at the bottom of this slide provides some very helpful information on how to do that. The web page provides step-by-step instructions with screenshots and visuals on where to find the ODS extracts and how to download them to your device to then upload them to CalPAS Plus. What you see here on the screen are just some helpful data upload tips to keep in mind when you're submitting data for your K-12 institution. Please be sure to select CalPADS as the file purpose when uploading these ODS extracts. Make sure that your extracts are in caret delimited format. This should be the format of the files as you download them from the CalPADS website anyways, so you don't need to reformat or restructure those files in any way. Please label your files according to the extract type and academic year. This just helps to keep things organized on our end and easier to make sure that they're populating the right data tables. If your files are too large to upload, sometimes the file upload page that we demonstrated will time out. And if this happens, it's not a problem. Just reload your page and try compressing your files into a zip folder to upload instead. And of course, as we mentioned, if you ever have any trouble with the data upload process, the outreach team is always available to help troubleshoot the process and answer your questions. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us. To cover some information about the post-secondary data upload process, for community college members, we receive community college data directly from the Chancellor's Office Management Information System, abbreviated COMIS. So community college members do not need to directly upload data to CalPAS Plus. For four-year university members, we have developed a data element dictionary that our university partners use to format their data. The DED basically provides all the data elements that need to be included in their uploaded files, and it provides the required format and structure for creating those data files. Universities submit these data files to CalPAS Plus on an annual basis, just like K-12 members. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you all so much for listening, and thank you for dealing with those technical issues earlier. We are now going to have a Q&A section of the presentation and open it up to the questions from all of you that you've submitted to the questions panel. If you have other questions that you haven't yet submitted, please go ahead and submit them now, and we'll address as many questions as we can.
Great. Well, thank you again for all of your questions. Feel free to send them in as we're responding. The first question that came up, Devin, is how does CalPAS Plus protect student data and ensure student privacy?
Great question. So we automatically encrypt all data that's uploaded to CalPAS Plus, so no personally identifiable information is stored. We know that student information is You know, it's a delicate topic, and we want to be respectful and make sure people feel comfortable uploading to the CalPass Plus system. We're completely FERPA compliant, and the rest of our data privacy and security policies can be found on the CalPass Plus website. It's linked in the bottom bar of almost every single screen, so feel free to go and read through that document for all necessary details. And if you do have questions about anything listed there, we are happy to address that.
Perfect. So we also received some questions about whether or not they have data analytics questions that go beyond the metrics provided on the dashboards and how we might be able to assist them.
Yeah, great question. So eligible CalPass Plus member institutions can submit additional data requests for information that go beyond the dashboards. We are here to be your data partners, so in whatever way we can assist you all, we are happy to do that. The data is still the property of each district, each institution, so we will provide it to you all as requested. We have a page that someone from a member institution can fill out with the details of what data they'd like to request. And if the request is complicated, we may have to have some, exploratory discussions with you to really define what metrics and what information you're looking to receive, and figure out a timeline for getting you that information. And we take these kinds of requests on a case-by-case basis, and we're always open to collaborating with you and working to get you whatever information you need.
Perfect. And I'd also invite you all to refer to the handout that we included regarding the impact story for CCSF as an example of a project that we did with them. Another question that we received is, who is allowed to request a login from CalPass Plus? Meaning, if I work at a member institution as a teacher, would I be allowed to request a login, or as a researcher working with the institution?
Yes, the answer is yes to all of the above. So if you're affiliated with a member institution, if you are a principal, if you're a superintendent, if you're a counselor or a teacher that works for an institution that is a member of CalPass Plus, that institution holds an MOU, any one of you can request a login. If you're an outside researcher that is working with the K-12 district or with the community college, you can also request a login and receive it, but it needs to be approved by the member institution. So we need to have authorization from the K-12 district that you're working for example, that you are allowed to have a login.
Okay, wonderful. And we had many questions regarding where we receive the employment and labor data from.
Great question. So that the labor market and employment data, that comes to us through the Chancellor's office as well. So that data is a cut of unemployment insurance data through the Employment Development Department of California.
Wonderful. We additionally received multiple questions regarding the potential timeline that 2018-2019 community college data might be available. I said that we could always check in with our data team for any specific dashboards for a more accurate timeline, but do you have anything to add to that answer, Devin?
Yeah, I'll just add that, each of those dashboards kind of does have its own timeline. I know that our data team has been working really hard these past few weeks to get that updated information available to you all. We can follow up, or you please follow up with us to get more concrete timelines as we converse with our data team. But hopefully that information will be populated before too long.
Perfect. I'll also add, they are asking questions about whether or not they can know if their institution is an active member and what kind of data might be already loaded or missing.
Great, yes. So that would be referring back to the member list page that we demonstrated before we had those technical difficulties. So by going to the member list page, you can type in the name of your institution, your district, community college, whatever it is, and you'll see if you have an active MOU that'll say yes or no in that column, and you can click on the year of data that is present on that same page, and it should show you a full chart of data that's been submitted for your institution. And if you have questions about anything related to that page, or you believe that the information is inaccurate in any way, please reach out to us. We would absolutely want to work with you to fix that.
Wonderful. And how do do MOUs last year by year? Do we have to send in a new MOU each year? How does that work?
Another good question. So our MOUs do not have expiration dates. So once you become a member, your membership continues for as long as you'd like it to continue. We set it up this way so that folks don't have to continually worry about renewing their MOU every year. Their membership continues for as long as they'd like it to continue. So there's no expiration date.
Wonderful. Another question, who do we contact to join a regional learning collaborative?
Great question. And you can contact any one of us, and our contact information is on the screen right now. If you're interested in hearing about regional learning collaboratives or any other information, reach out to any of us.
Perfect. Let me know if I am missing any of the questions that I didn't respond to in the chat directly. Please send me another ping, but I believe that's most of the questions that we received. So I encourage you all, there are a couple questions about specific reports that we might be able to help with to, like Devin said, just reach out to us directly so we can learn more about what you are looking for and see if we can help.
Great. So thank you again, as Annalise said, for all of those questions. Feel free to keep sending them if you have others, or reach out to us afterwards. I want to mention that tomorrow you'll receive a follow-up email with the recording of this webinar, and the email will also include a link to a brief survey that asks what you thought of this presentation, and it'll give you the opportunity to tell us more about what you'd potentially be interested in seeing in our future dashboards or tools, or our research directions. So our goal is to really make the CalPAS Plus system support the needs and priorities of the field. So we'd appreciate any feedback you have for that survey. We're coming up on our hour here for this webinar, but we'll stick around for another few minutes in case there are any other questions that come up. And otherwise, thank you all so much for your time. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy out there during these uncertain times, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you all so much.
Perfect. We are receiving a couple more questions for those of us that are still joining. Is it possible to download data directly from CalPAS Plus? Also, just to add really quick, yes, it is outreach@ebresults.org if you want to email the entire outreach department at once, but you can also email any of us with the emails on the screen. But yeah, sorry to interrupt your answer, Devin. Is it possible to download data from CalPAS Plus?
It is. There are certain dashboards that have a download button. A lot of the Launchboard tools, for example, will have a download CSV file function on the dashboard itself, usually right next to the selection criteria of that tool. So you can download data that way. Or as we were discussing before about if you have data analytics questions that are beyond the scope of the metrics on a tool, there is that data download option where you would fill out a form and work with us to make sure that you have the necessary information included in your request form, and you can download data that way as well. That's a more interactive process with us here on the outreach team and us here at CalPAS Plus, but that's an option as well.
Perfect. And who should they contact if they notice on the member list that, for example, like the CASP file or other data wasn't loaded properly onto CalPAS Plus?
You can contact any one of us on the outreach team. So me, Devin, Annalise, or Malkeet, we can all help you with that issue. So feel free to reach out.
Wonderful. Just waiting for a couple more moments to see if anyone else is sending in. Oh, here's another good question that just came in. Who at the K-12 district level usually contacts you to join CalPAS Plus? So in other words, who is eligible to sign the MOU?
Great question. The signer of a K-12 MOU is usually someone at a high authority level at the district. So usually a superintendent, a department director, all those folks who have the authority to enter their district into a data sharing agreement. They are the signers of CalPAS Plus MOUs for K-12 institutions. If there are other folks at a district who are interested in CalPAS Plus and that district is not yet members, anyone can reach out to us. We're happy to talk to anyone at any level at a district about the CalPAS Plus system, but the MOUs do need to be signed by a superintendent or department director or someone who has that authority to enter into a contract.
I'm not seeing any further questions as of right now, but if you think of some when you review the recording tomorrow or you share it with your colleagues, you're always welcome to reach out to us directly.
Great. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day.